Baruch Hamabon b'Shem Hashem. Like the welcome to the Taya Choshev Oilam to the Sheba Rav Agon Rabbi Yaakov Zev Smishlita on a very important topic of all different Havdalah Shilas. Harav Zev Smishlita.
Today's inyan, like many others, is the result of people asking Shilas, and I'll tell you a few of them what we started with and where this led us to. Someone, for some reason, during Shalosh Shuddis was very late. So he said Baruch Hamavdil, and then he wanted to know, does he say Ritzei in benching, because he didn't have bench, but then again he said Baruch Hamavdil and Bitzoi Shabbos. Then we had a Shaila, someone was away for Shabbos by a convention. As he told me, everything takes much longer than he's used to, and because he had to get on right after Shabbos, and he's on the way to daven Maariv, someone was making Havdalah. Now he told me that between the Maariv and the next Havdalah would be another 15 minutes till everybody gets together, and so he wanted to first hear Havdalah and then daven Maariv. Could he do that? Could he still say Khוננתנו after he heard Havdalah halachos? And then we had a third shaila where someone forgot Khוננתנו, but they remembered during the Shemona. Can they put it in between bracha and bracha before the next bracha? Can they put it into Kולenu like Nצור? So if you notice with this three shilas, and we'll soon see many, many more, we touched upon three alternatives for Havdalah. Havdalah halachos, Khוננתנו, and then Baruch Hamavdil ben Kodesh L'chol. And the question is, what is the role, what is the function of each of them? How much does each one help? And then we'll see the answer to these questions and many, many more. And as our derech Bez Hashem is to try to find one yesod and hopefully find enough information to proceed, I think that's really the question. Or maybe I could put it a little more aggressively. If indeed Khוננתנו is a form of Havdalah, so how could you then make Havdalah halachos? B'chayr it's a bracha, she'eina tzricha, bracha levatala maybe. And lest you think I'm just hallucinating, the Gemara in Brachas Daf Lamed Gimel has such a shita. Once you Yotze Havdalah, how could you repeat it? But what makes it a little more exciting, or geschmack, this concept seems to us vaguely familiar. One mitzvah, two ways of doing it, and we do both. What is that? Kiddush. Kiddush, midaraisa, is, according to many shitas, b'dvarim. We do b'dvarim and tefillah halachos. So the question is, how do we define the various havdalahs that we do every Motzei Shabbos? So this is the beauty of the sugya. It's actually three sugyas in Shas: brachas chavtes, brachas lamed gimel, and Shabbos kufnun. Now I must tell you, I always feel very challenging speaking to this oilam. The oilam not just they know how to learn, they learn, they're into it, and I find it very intimidating. But today's sugya I feel even more threatened because I don't learn Daf Yomi, the Olam does. And for me to talk about a sugya you just learned in Lamed Gimel is like for me to talk to Albert Einstein about the theory of relativity. You know, like what kind of shaykh do I have to this sugya like you have? So please bear with me, but I think you'll enjoy it more, especially you just learned it in Chavtes and Lamed Gimel. One thing when you learn the sugya, hopefully you realize that the Khוננתנו is very underappreciated. We look at it and we say, well, I know if you forget Khוננתנו, it's okay. You don't need it that much. But that's not true at all. The Gemara in Brachas Daf Chavtes says if a whole year you're allowed to say the bracha of Vatודיענו, which is the abridged Shemona, but you can't say Vatודיענו on Motzei Shabbos. Why? Because there's no Khוננתנו. So this is incredible. Just because you can't say Khוננתנו, I thought it's not ma'akiv. But the Gemara says you can't say Vatודיענו because there's no Khוננתנו. But if you recall, the Gemara says something even more striking. After the Gemara says we can't say Vatודיענו on Motzei Shabbos because no Khוננתנו, the Gemara has another mashal. During the winter, you can't say Vatודיענו because you can't say v'sein talamat levracha. So it's a pliya. The same talamat levracha is ma'akiv. Of course you can't say Vatודיענו if Saint Tal is ma'akiv. How do you compare that to Havdalah of Khוננתנו? Evidently, and we'll soon see, Khוננתנו in a certain sense is ma'akiv. When I forget, I don't have to repeat it, we'll soon see. But there's another purpose that makes Khonenatnu very crucial. Did you ever wonder why we put Khonenatnu in the bracha of Bina? Now we call it the bracha of Das, but Poskim refer to it as Bina because Bina is more than Das. Why do we put Khonenatnu in the bracha of Bina Das? So the Gemara in Brachas Lamed Gimel says one pshat, Mitoich shi chachma kava'uhu beberchas chachma. So the Vel quotes something which is not the Babli, it's rather the Yishalmi and Brachas Hey Beis. Im ein deya Havdalah minayin. If you don't have the seichel to differentiate, you can't make Havdalah. So one reason why we put it in the bracha of Bina. But the second answer the Gemara provides is a bit unclear. Zog the Gemara, mitoich shu chayil, lefikach kavu beberchas chayil. Since it's chayil, you put it into chayil. What does that mean? So Zog the Goyin in his Bir Agron, our Simon and Reish Sadik Dal and a Mavel de Kipshat. Did you ever wonder how are you allowed to daven a weekday Shmoneh Esrei Matzori Shabbos? If you didn't make Havdalah, it's still Shabbos. We don't daven weekday Shmoneh Esrei on Shabbos. Birchas Krishma, you're allowed to say. Or if you are like that person that I just mentioned, who makes Havdalah before Maariv, you could daven a weekday Shmoneh Esrei. But how do we have the liberty of davening a weekday Shmoneh Esrei? It's still Shabbos. You know, we asked this question, the Yishalmi, in Brachas Hey Beis. And Zok the Yishalmi, that's why before you make any bakashais, you make Havdalah of Khonenatnu. So you say Khonenatnu, it's Ois Shabbos, and then you proceed with the 13 brachais of bakashais. Zok the Goyin, that's what the Babli meant. Why do you put it in the bracha of Bina? First things first. First make Havdalah, and then you could ask your requests. But then the Goyin says even more powerful. Look how perfect the Seder in davening is. You start that part of Shmoneh Esrei, and you mention Das. You don't ask for Das. Atachaynin. In other words, I have Das. I could make Havdalah. Then I make Havdalah. Once I finish Havdalah, I ask for Das. V'chanenu meyitcha. So the package is perfect. And the Rashbin Aleph Tov Shalom says, Mamash like the Pshat of the Gra, very bekitza. And that's why both the Rav and the Mishnah Berurah and Sivkot and Beis say, you have to say Khonenatnu in the bracha of Das, because if not, Asa Litvaya Tzrachav, you're not allowed to ask for regular bakashas. No, Oy Bazoi, I ask you, is Khonenatnu extra credit? You have to say it to continue Shmoneh Esrei. No. But come in the Lamdin and says, wait a minute, if that's the case, if I forgot Khonenatnu, how could I proceed in Shmoneh Esrei? Good question, but the answer is, I'll tell you, it's a fine line. Imagine the following, which sometimes happen. It's a Friday night, Shmoneh Esrei, it's very quiet, a tefillah of menucha, and suddenly you hear someone clapping in the middle of Shmoneh Esrei. What happened? He's a little disconnected, and he's saying a regular Shmoneh Esrei. So first thing he starts to do is rub his chest, no one should chap what he did, but he's totally in a different way. He's davening a bracha to Shmoneh Esrei. What is the halacha? To face on the Gemara, finish that bracha and go back to Shabbos. Why? Because really there's no issa of davening weekday brachas on Shabbos, just Chazal weren't matriachos. So that's really why it's not asa mamish, it's just improper, inappropriate. So if someone forgot to Khonenatnu, but Lamais it's after this man already, so he should finish the Shmoneh Esrei. A little of a question is, if he forgot Khonenatnu, he's allowed to finish the Shmoneh Esrei, maybe he shouldn't add personal requests, because the Nusach HaTefillah he has to say, why do more? But one thing is certain, the best way to do it, the right way to do it is Khonenatnu, and then you proceed in Shmoneh Esrei. We see two good reasons why the bracha of Havdalah is in the bracha of Bina. For those of you who like a remez, the word Bina, with Havdalah is in, is exactly the Rashi Tevis, Besamim, Yayin, Ner, and Havdalah. That's not my chiddush. The Mishnah Berurah in the beginning of Kuf Tezvav quotes the Seid HaYoim that says this remez. So now we see that the importance of Khonenatnu. I must mention the Ra'ah, one of the Rishonim in Brachas on that sugya, he says another reason why you put Khonenatnu right away. Because don't forget, Havdalah, according to many Rishonim, is a mitzvah d'oraisa. And as we'll soon see, the Ikka Havdalah is B'tfila. So, Vivayit a mitzvah deraisa, why delay? Zriza Magdima la mitzvahs, say it as early as possible. And the same Ra'ah says that even if Maariv during the week is Rishus, on Motzei Shabbos it's a deraisa. Chiyav. Why? Because of the Havdalah Sheboy. Rather, I wondered about the Ra'ah. There's a mile of saying it as soon as possible, as Riza Magdiman. But then again, we spoke about this a few weeks ago, it's a very great inyan to prolong the Shabbos. So maybe you should put the Havdalah at the end of Shemona Esrei. I guess that's why the Babli didn't say that. But the Ra'ah apparently held, once you're saying it, say it right away. Okay, now let's talk Tachlis. We have 3 Havdalah alternatives. Baruch HaMavdiil will soon see. But what we do every single Motzei Shabbos, we have Khוננתנו and then Havdalah Alternatives. Which is the real Havdalah? Which is the Ikka? Is it ever possible one without the other? So the Gemara in Brachas Lamed Gimel says the following: Anshe Knesset Agdoila Tiknu. They were masakin this Havdalah B'tfila. B'tchila Kava'ua B'tfila. First they put it into davening at Khוננתנו. Ha'ashiru, and then they became wealthy and they had enough wine. Kavu alakos. They put it into Havdalah alakos. And then at that point they didn't say it b'chayr and tefillah. Chazu v'hanu, and then they became poor again. They couldn't afford wine. Kavu b'tefillah. V'heim amru, and then the same Chazal said you have to do both. Now what is going on here? So the answer is very simple, as the Rishonim explain, something that we can't relate to, Baruch Hashem, but people were very poor in the olden days, and they couldn't afford wine. And Chazal felt you can't require a yid to make Havdalah Alternatives if he doesn't have wine. Why were they masakin Kiddush Alternatives? For 2 reasons. First of all, like some say Kiddush Alternatives is the Raisa, and also Kiddush Alternatives you have the alternative if you don't have wine to use pas, but Havdalah you don't. So Chazal felt it's unfair to mechayiv Havdalah Alternatives. So therefore the initial Havdalah was B'tfila, Ato Khוננתנו. Then when wine was available, let's put it alakos. Now I should add, why is it better alakos? I'll tell you 2 or maybe even 3 reasons. First of all, Havdalah alakos, you have a unique bracha, independent bracha just for Havdalah. In Shemona Esrei it's part of Atachaynin, but there's a special bracha for Havdalah. Also it has the cheshivas alakos. And thirdly, it's like Kiddush, because Kiddush is alakos. So when you could do kais, about the kais is better. But then it was back to poverty. So Chazal said, Ad kana kafazayim. That's it. We can't do this back and forth. The Ikka Havdalah is back with tefillah. If you have a kais, wonderful. So the way the Pnei Yeshua explains that it's funny. The Ikka Havdalah was b'tefillah and is b'tefillah. What's better? Ala kais. Therefore, the Gemara's Hemshech is beautiful. Now that you understand a mile in both, therefore we have to do both. So this is the source of Havdalah. The big question that you should probably ask is, I thought according to many sheets, Havdalah is the Raisa. And here the Gemara is saying, what, they were masakin, this or that, I thought it's the Raisa. Zok the Rashba and Dalet Reish Sadikei and the Chinuch and Minchas Chinuch Lamed Aleph Gimel says the same thing. Avad Havdalah is the Raisa. But for that you can make up your own nusach. Baruch Ato Hashem L'keinu Melech Haolam HaMavdiil Mekodesh L'chol. And a good tavach. But the special nusach that Chazal gave us of Ato Khוננתנו, or the longer bracha of Havdalah, that's Chazal's takana. But beside Havdalah, according to many sheets, is the Raisa. The Ikar and first takana was B'tfila. But the best package would be Havdalah Alternatives. And that's why the Gemara concludes, and Daf Lamed Gimel Lamed Beis, Hilchas Samai, can I do both? So the Gemara, yes, not only you could, you should do both, just like the mitzvah of Kiddush. And indeed, there are 2 simanim in Shulchan Aruch. Reish Tzadik Dalet, we're learning today, is Havdalah B'tfila Ato Khוננתנו, and Reish Tzadik Vav and on is the various simanim regarding Havdalah Alternatives. There's one last piece of the puzzle that's still missing, and that is where did Baruch HaMavdil come from, and what are its roles? So the MS is, this is a Gemara, a third sugya, not in brachas in Shas, but it's in Shabbos, Daf Kuf Nun Amud Beis, where the Mishnah implies that someone that has to do melacha right by this man, who's not home, and he's allowed to do melacha. He didn't make Havdalah yet, he didn't daven Maariv yet, how could he do melacha? Zog the Gemara, the Eitzah is to say, Hamavdil ben kodesh l'chol. And then you could do melacha. Now, Zog the Gemara, once you say Hamavdil ben kodesh l'chol, you could do all of your melacha. The question is, what is this supposed to mean? It's not Havdalah b'tefillah, it's not Havdalah al-Kais, and from the Lashon HaGemara, it seems not even Shema Malchus. So Rashi says a few words, very unique, Lekera ba'alma l'lavais hasamelach. You're right, it's not Havdalah al-Kais, certainly not. It's not even Havdalah b'tefillah. Havdalah b'tefillah is part of a bracha. This is all of a sudden, Baruch HaMavdil ben kodesh l'chol. So Rashi says it's a very mild, symbolic gesture. I guess Rashi understands that really it's after the Zman. It's always Shabbos. You have to do something to signal that. For that, Baruch HaMavdil is enough. Now, of course, Rashi himself says it would be much better if you daven Havdalah b'tefillah. Havdalah b'tefillah is the Havdalah. But if you have no choice, you're traveling and you can't make Havdalah, there's no Maariv, say Baruch HaMavdil. Now, Rashi is a big chiddush. How could a non-bracha permit you to do melacha? And you should know that the Torah in Reish Tzadik Tes quotes Rishonim, Bahag and others, that there's no such thing as Baruch HaMavdil ben kodesh l'chol. If it's not a bracha, it's worthless. But Rashi holds, obviously, I guess the svara, since it's after the Zman, Lekeir ba'alm is enough. And surprisingly enough, the Shulchan Aruch in Reish Tzadik Tes Yud does not go with the Torah. He paskins like Rashi, that even Baruch HaMavdil without Shema Malchus is sufficient to permit the melacha to be done. Now, of course you can eat after Baruch HaMavdil unless you make a proper Havdalah. Just like you can eat after Khonenetanu of Maariv until you make a proper Havdalah. So it's Baruch HaMavdil is similar to Khonenetanu, but it's not the real thing, because it's not Havdalah with a bracha. The Ramah then adds, this is important to mention, says the Ramah, for women that don't daven Maariv and don't say Khonenetanu, and at home it's after the Zman, let's clean up the house. Don't do melacha until minimally you say Baruch HaMavdil. A more of a common oversight on Motzei Shabbos Shechal B'Yom Tiv. L'mashal, Pesach last year was Shabbos and Sunday. So Shabbos is over and you have to prepare for the Seder. Oh, let's get to work. Not so fast. Because true, it's after the Zman, but it's still Shabbos. So if you want to do malachas that are mutter on Yom Tiv and not on Shabbos, you have to say a Baruch HaMavdil. But not the typical Mavdil ben kodesh l'chol, HaMavdil ben kodesh l'kodesh, because it's going from Shabbos to Yom Tiv. A third oversight is, when it comes up, for men and women I should mention, is Motzei Shabbos Shechal B'Tisha B'Av. So, Motzei Shabbos is over, we change into weekday clothing, we do daven the Tisha B'Av Maariv. Before you do any malacha, if you want to put on the lights to find your slippers, sneakers, etc., say Baruch HaMavdil. This is a rare case that you're at home, and there's no HaMavdil, you didn't have Maariv yet, there's no Havdalah b'kais, and you can't do malacha. So any malacha you want to do, Motzei Shabbos Shechal B'Tisha B'Av, first say Baruch HaMavdil, men and women, and then do malacha. That's the Mishnah later, Tov Kuf Nun Vav Sif Cotton Bays. Now someone asked, is it 100% lechatchila to do malacha after Baruch HaMavdil? I can't say 100% because some Rishonim hold you have to have a Shema Malchus, but the Machaba passing like Rashi, so for us it's 100%. Now we have hopefully a beautiful picture of the three forms of Havdalah. Again, the Ikar is Havdalah b'tefillah. Better would be Havdalah al-Kais, which has Milas. And what's not on the weekly program, but is available for a Shas Atchak, is what we call this semi Havdalah, and that is Baruch HaMavdil bein Kodesh L'chol. If you need to do Melacha before any Havdalah, you use Baruch HaMavdil. Now, let us apply this Lamaisa, and I certainly hope you enjoy this as much as I did, how everything stems once we have this Yesod. First and foremost, we see Khonenatnu is not extra credit. If I, nish, not so bad. This is the Ikar Havdalah. So certainly a person should be focused on saying it. But if you remember the Gemara that you learned the other week, you'll appreciate that it's almost Ma'akiv. It's not Ma'akiv. Let me explain. The Gemara in Daf Chavtes says, if a person did not say Mashiv Ruach, he has to daven over. It's Ma'akiv. If he didn't say in Talmud Bracha, he doesn't have to daven over. I thought it's Ma'akiv. It is Ma'akiv. But you have a second chance. Shema Kaleinu. Then the Gemara says, you didn't say Khonenatnu, no problem. So we would say no problem because the whole thing is extra credit. Gemara doesn't say that. Gemara says, no problem, why? Because you could put it into, you could say it in Havdalah Alternatives. So to me, there is a nuance that has to be noticed. That Havdalah B'Tefillah is Ma'akiv. Just, you have an alternative. No one thinks that Talmud Levrach is not Ma'akiv. It is Ma'akiv. But if you could get a second chance, so you never too late. So really, B'Yisoid Khonenatnu is Ma'akiv. But you have Havdalah B'Kais, so it's never too late. And I'll prove it. I'll prove it that it is Ma'akiv. Let's say someone is on a desert island, and he knows until Monday morning for sure he won't have wine. And he made the mistake of forgetting Khonenatnu on Motzei Shabbos. Zokter bein Yoina, he has to daven over the Shemona Esrei. Khonenatnu is not Ma'akiv. It's not Ma'akiv because you have an emergency hatch. But if you don't have it before Monday morning, you have to daven over. And the Mechaber in our Simon, Siv Beis, quotes this Rabbeinu Yoina. I'll say, wait a minute, all is not lost. Why should I daven over? I'll say Baruch HaMavdil and wait for the wine there in the middle of the week. The teretz is Baruch HaMavdil is not good enough. Why not? It doesn't permit you to do melacha, to eat. Melacha it does, but it doesn't permit you to eat. So just like every Motzei Shabbos, we don't suffice with Baruch HaMavdil, you have to have Havdalah. So too, if you forgot to say Khonenatnu and there's no wine in the near future, you have to repeat the Shemona Esrei. Now, Baruch Hashem, today we have wine, and Allah is if you forgot Khonenatnu, you don't repeat it, but B'Yisoid, it's possible that Khonenatnu is Ma'akiv. And we'll soon see, as you remember, if someone made a second mistake, he would have to repeat another case where you have to repeat Khonenatnu. The next group of questions is someone forgot Khonenatnu, but it's not, he didn't finish Shemona Esrei. So the question that people ask, can I insert it in Kולנו or like Nצור? So one thing is Pashit. The answer is no. You can't put it in Kולנו. You can't put it between brachas. Then put it there. And most Pashit, if you said Baruch Atah Hashem, and before you said Chonen Adas, you want to say Lamdeni Chukecha, and then put an Khonenatnu, that's the worst. Why is that the worst? The teretz is, we once spoke about this, when you say Lamdeni Chukecha on a regular afternoon, it's a pasuk Tillim. But in Milah Shemona Esrei, why are you saying Tillim? It's not the right time for this. So how do you ever say Lamdeni Chukecha in Milah Shemona Esrei? And Taka, many poskim hold that's not an alternative if you Milah Shemona Esrei. Those that hold that you're allowed to do it when you made a mistake, is only in a limited case when if you don't say Lamdeni Chukecha and you finish the bracha, you're going to have to repeat the entire Shemona Esrei. So it's better to Lamdeni Chukecha than repeat the Shemona Esrei. But in this case, you have a Gemara's solution. What's the solution? Havdalah Alternatives. So it's Pashit, and all the poskim say this, the Tilo Dov, Siv Katan Zayin spells it out. Plus, we once mentioned the Magen Avraham and Kuf Lamed Hey Siv Katan Ches says B'chlal Lamdeni Chukecha, even not in Shemona Esrei, is not proper because you started out as a bracha and you turn it into a tillim. But there's no question about it. Lamdeni Chukecha is not an alternative. How about putting it after I say Chonen Adas before I start Hashivenu, which I sometimes do. L'mashal, if you forgot Mashiv Ruach and you said Mechaya Meisim, you put it in between the brachas. Kuf Yudalet Sivav. However, the Mechaba by us in Siv Dalet says no. Once you finish Chayin and Hadas, go weiter. Why go weiter? The answer is putting between brachas is not lechatchila. It's a problem, but it's the lesser of two evils. Our case, Rabbi Yid, you have another alternative. What's that? Havdalah b'kois. How about putting it into Shema Kelein? That sounds like, a risk-free. You're not making a problem as far as Lambeinu Chukecha. But Rabbi say, I could almost tell you it's a Beferish Gemara, which you learned, that you can't put it into Shema Keleinu. Which Gemara did you learn? It's very pashut. In Daf Chav Tes, the Gemara says, if you forgot Talamota, put it into Shema Keleinu. The next word, if you forgot the Havdalah, put it into, you say it Havdalah Alternatives. So why did the Gemara say put it into Shema Keleinu? The Teretz is Shema Keleinu is not a free-for-all. You're allowed to put bakashas into Shema Keleinu. Havdalah is a mitzvah. You can't learn a Raj by the middle of Shema Keleinu. So how do you do a mitzvah Havdalah? So it's beautiful. Tois is found in the Gemara that you can't put Shema Keleinu, you can't put Havdalah in Shema Keleinu. I once had a very inspiring shayla. Bacha asked me, he davened along Shema Esra, and he always misses saying Kedusha, and it bothers him. If he's holding a milah Shema Keleinu, can he stick in Kedusha there? Because like he said, if I could daven so that I should pass my regent, I could say Kedusha, which is a deraisa. I told him you could daven for your regent because it's a tefillah. But Kedusha is not a tefillah. So that's why Tosfos holds you can't stick it into Shema Keleinu. The Torah in our Siman quotes a Rambam that you could. And the Gemara says put it into Havdalah Alternatives because that's a better Eitzah. That's the real McCoy. But also in Shema Esra, in Shema Keleinu you could. And I was wondering, what's Takab Shat? But the truth is for us, it's not such a chiddush to understand the Rambam. If you look at the end of Khonenatnu, those words that I look forward to saying, Hachel aleinu hayamim haboyim lekoseinu l'sholem. I should have a peaceful week. Chasuchim mikol chet, menukim mikol avoin, umudubokim b'yirasecha. I should be mamish close and tight with my yiras shamayim. That's a beautiful tefillah bakasha. So maybe our nusach of Khonenatnu is appropriate in Shema Keleinu. And Taka the Buchacha writes that he once forgot Khonenatnu and he put it into Shema Keleinu and he realized that maybe it wasn't right and then he justified it because part of the Khonenatnu is indeed tefillah. But the Maisa, the Paiskim say not to do it. The Chashukhan calls it a question of a hefsek, in fact. But at the end of the day, we see how everything is in our Gemara. The Gemara seemingly says not to put it into Shema Keleinu. And that's halacha l'maisa. The next question, l'chayr, is risk-free. Put it into l'kayin Ntzor. After you say hiratzin, first, second, if you hold two, so after you say both hiratzin, then you can put it in Khonenatnu. So the answer is yes, you could put it in, but it doesn't really help much. Because once you're saying the heta is, I finished my Esra, so then what do you have now? You have like a Baruch HaMavdil. The mile is b'tefillah. Once you're saying it's mutter because I'm not in the tefillah, so you got to be consistent. So yes, you could put it into l'kayin Ntzor, but it doesn't have a mile more than saying it after v'yitem lecha. And that's why the Paiskim do not advise that. I saw a beautiful tshuva, the Knei Boisim and Aleph Yud Zayin says it's not a problem, but if you're not gaining, it's just like a bona fide Baruch HaMavdil. Question. Consider a person has a situation where he forgot to say Khonenatnu and he can't make Havdalah right away. And that is Motzei Shabbos Shechal B'Tisha B'Av. He forgot Khonenatnu. He's all disoriented. He comes to shul with his weekday clothing and his sneakers and he just forgot about Khonenatnu. And now he's scratching. He said, "What should I do? I can't follow the Gemara's eitzah of saying Havdalah Alternatives." He's too embarrassed to ask them, "What should I do?" But the emes, if you think about it, here he doesn't have the eitzah of Havdalah. But wait a minute, he's saying it tomorrow night. Why can he rely on that? We never rely on Havdalah till tomorrow night. But this case has one unique feature to it. The reason why you need Havdalah Alternatives is to permit achila. For Melacha, you could say Baruch HaMavdil. So maybe Taka will tell him, relax, and don't forget to make Havdalah tomorrow night. And that's not my Chiddush, that's Mechaba by us, Siv Gimel. Tishra Shacharis ve'achad Shabbos, you forgot to write the Khonenatnu, don't repeat the Shmoneh, you can rely on Havdalah Alakais tomorrow night. Oh, why then any Mitzvah Shabbos is such a problem? Because you want to eat Malav Malki, you have to have Havdalah Alakais. Now the person came to me with a very interesting ha'orah. Okay, I'm not going to repeat Shmoneh, that's for sure. Can I put it into Sunday morning Shacharis? I'm not making a special bracha. I'm just going to say it's part of Atachayne. So the emes is, you're not losing, but no one ever put it into Shacharis. We'll soon see, but there is one case that you do. But in this case, there really is no purpose. Because what are you gaining? You said Baruch HaMavdil, hopefully, before you change into weekday clothing. You're not eating any until tomorrow night, till tonight. So what are you gaining making this change, your innovative change in Shmoneh? So I would wonder, if I don't like relying on Baruch HaMavdil, because according to the Torah it doesn't work, Rambam doesn't work, but it seems the places say don't change Shmoneh, keep it as it is, don't say Khonenatnu. For the same reason, don't put it into Mincha. Now again, there would be some type of a cheshbon, you want to have more than a Baruch HaMavdil, but it's not done. But now the Lamdin says, how about if I put it into Maariv? Again, I'm not making a special bracha, and Maariv is where it is. But again, it's this the Mishnah Berurah does say in Tavkuf Nun Vav Sif Katan Gimel. He says, if you forgot Khonenatnu Mitzvah Shabbos, don't put it into Mitzvah Tisha B'Av Maariv, because Kfar Cholav Shaitei, it's much too late. I mean, Khonenatnu belongs to Mitzvah Shabbos, not Sunday night. Okay, now, next question is a fascinating question, and enjoy the following question. Someone did not forget the Khonenatnu. So far, so good. But as far as Barnash, he's still a forgetful person. He forgot there's something that's even worse. Either Mitzvah Shabbos, Tshuva, he forgot to say Melacha Kodesh, or during the winter he forgot to say V'sein Talamat Levracha, or on Mitzvah Shabbos Chaylamoyed, he forgot to say Ya'aleh V'yavli. So let me tell you his location. He did say Khonenatnu, but he made a more serious mistake in Pilot Shmoneh that has to repeat the entire Shmoneh. What's the Shaila? You just said he has to repeat Shmoneh without a doubt. Now he's faced with an interesting question. When he repeats the Shmoneh, does he say another time Khonenatnu? He already said it earlier. But then again, the Shmoneh is possible. So how do you look at this? I made Havdalah a second time, but then again, if the Shmoneh is possible, everything else, it's possible for this. So what comes to mind? That famous Machlokes Rishonim. When someone didn't say on the Askara, that's Ma'akiv, is the Pshat to Nish Gedavent, he didn't daven, invalid, try again, or he did daven, but he has to say Askara. This would be another nafkamina. If you say that because he left out an Askara, it's Nish Gedavent, so he didn't say Khonenatnu and Tefillah, because there is no Tefillah. Repeat it. But if the he davened, but he didn't say the Askara, so what's wrong with Khonenatnu? It's not Lashon Hara. It's not Khonenatnu. And that's exactly what the Kajiglov in Eretz Tzvi, Aleph Chavdalet, he has his famous tshuva of this Chakira. He has a list of nafkaminas, and one of them is this very shayla. Then I saw Reb Shlomo Zalman in Shmir HaShabbos, Nun Ches Chav Ches, doesn't quote Eretz Tzvi, but he wonders, and he says, I don't understand. Once you said Khonenatnu, that Havdalah was Chal. So how do you invalidate a Havdalah? There's nothing wrong with the Havdalah. Now, what l'chayra I could understand what the Eretz Tzvi held. Once you say that the Shmoneh is possible, so there's no Shmoneh. So how can it be Havdalah but Tefillah if there's no Tefillah? Then I thought of something I think is beautiful. It depends where you made your mistake. Now watch this. If you forgot Mashiv HaRuach or HaMelech HaKodesh, then when you got to Khonenatnu, you were already invalid, you're already puzzled. Then you have no Khonenatnu. But if you're a better mistake person and you forgot to say the Saint Talamat Levracha or Ya'alav Yavai, so then you work slowly. After Khonenatenu was good, Chal. Later I made a mistake, okay, that doesn't passel my Havdalah. So it could be, the question is where you made your mistake. Then I saw the Orchos Chaim, the Spink, and Kuf Ches Yud, quotes him, Eish, he holds, no matter what mistake you made, and he lists them all out, don't repeat out to Khonenatenu. But he says why? And he says a very three mistake. There's nothing wrong with you out to Khonenatenu. It's not a Toyeva. It's not the Bishalakum. Nothing wrong with it. Navas. The Shmanes is no good. Good. So he quotes the Gemara, Kol Azvachim Shaloi Lishmam, Kishem El Shaloi Ol L'Shem Taida. Very interesting. In other words, he holds, like the other tzad, that if you forgot an Askara, it's a good Shemayin Esra, just you're missing an Askara. So that doesn't affect the Atu Khonenatenu. So now you see beautiful Shitas, what do you do Lamaisa? So what I think is true for this, and we'll soon see other cases, the Mishnah Berurah in Kuf Ches, Sif Katan Lamed Ches, discusses a case I hope doesn't happen, but you never know. On a random Tuesday night, someone said Atu Khonenatenu. Maybe the Gavai clapped and he thought it's, I don't know what he thought. He said Atu Khonenatenu. Do you have to repeat the Shemayin Esra? Usually if you put something wrong, you have to repeat the Shemayin Esra. So up to Mishnah Berurah, no. Because there's nothing shek about what you said. You said a very nice request, shevach. It's not sheker. When you say sheker, when you say biyoyim Rosh Chodesh, and today is Daled Nisan, that's sheker. But this is not sheker. So in the worst scenario, when you see Atu Khonenatenu, you're not supposed to, it's not ma'akiv. So here we have this major suffix, so be a sport and say it, you can't lose. That's what I think it should be done in this case. Consider the next question. Mitzvah Shabbos Shechal B'Yom. Let's put this in perspective. Pesach this past year was Shabbos and Sunday, and you're davening Mitzvah Shabbos, not into Chol, into Yom Tiv. So this we know, the sugya that you learned, Lamed Gimel, Lamed Beis, the Gemara calls the Maganisa B'Bavel, a gem of Bavel, and that's the bracha of that's the nusach of Vatodi'anu. Masha says a davacha nifla. Why is it a Bavel creation? Because in Eretz Yisrael, only one day Yom Tiv, you almost never have Mitzvah Shabbos Yom Tiv. But Bavel, it's all the time. The Shulchan in the end of Tav Tzadik Al says, what's the Maganisa? Because you talk about Roim Mismailas Yisrael, Shabbos and Yom Tiv. What could be better than that? So here we see that Atu Khonenatenu has a version specifically for Mitzvah Shabbos Yom Tiv. That's Vatodi'anu. And Taka, there's a whole simon in Shulchan Aruch, Tav Tzadik Aleph, you make Havdalah B'Kais on Mitzvah Shabbos going into Yom Tiv. But Siv Beis is, in davening, don't forget to say Vatodi'anu. A very common case that a person forgot. He's not used to Vatodi'anu, he forgot Vatodi'anu. Do you have to repeat the Shemayin Esra? So the basic klal is that Vatodi'anu is no different than Atu Khonenatenu. And just like the Maariv says, you Shemayin Esra, because you could say it al kais, Zok the Mishnah Berurah, Tav Tzadik Aleph, Dalid, if you left the Vatodi'anu, you Yotze the Shemayin Esra. But remember, you're still a shtickle Shabbostik. So before you do Melacha, that's Mutan Yom Tiv, say Baruch HaMavdam Kodesh LeKodesh. What is very common is someone forgot to say Vatodi'anu. But if you notice, unlike a regular Mitzvah Shabbos that the Atu Khonenatenu is a very short bracha, this bracha is very long. It starts on Kela Kodesh, Atu V'Chatanu, Batitein, then Ya'alav Yavai, I think, and then Elkei V'Gavasenu. It's a long bracha. It's only one bracha, like Shemayin Esra, like a Yom Tov bracha. Let's say he forgot to say it before, when he's supposed to. He remembered before Ya'alav Yavai, or before Atitei Lanu. So we would say, great. Just like you could put it any place in Atu Khonenatenu, so it happens to be on Yom Tiv, it's a long bracha. Yet the Mat Ephraim in Tov Kuf Tzadik Tesif Katan Zayin says, if you forgot Vatodi'anu and you said Baruch Atah Hashem, or you said Vatitanu Hashem Elokeinu, too late. You can't add it. So all the Mefarshim wonder, why not? You could put it any place. So Reb Shlomo Zalman and Alicha Shloim, the Tfilat Hazayin Dalit says Kfar Hoy Rezok, and the Mat Ephraim is Al Paisik. Done deal. Closed case. Rav Vozna Chelik Tes Chav Gimel says a pshat. And he says that, what are you planning on doing? Vatitnu Hashem Elokeinu b'ahava, ותודיענו. Then you're going to go back and say again, ותתנו Hashem Elokeinu b'ahava. So the first Shem Hashem ends up being levatala. It's not a bracha levatala, but it's a Shem levatala. Why are you doing that? You have an Eitzah. What's the Eitzah? The Gemara's Eitzah. What's the Gemara's Eitzah? Havdalah Alternatives. So because of the Shem Hashem, not because of something wrong with the Havdalah, it's the Shem Hashem that's the problem. Now, it comes out to me, and again, I didn't see Rav saying different, if you're a little more organized and you put it in between, l'mashal, after vatitanu, you say vatodi'anu, then you don't have to repeat vatitanu, or you put it before Yalav Yavai, or before the Ken V'Kaviseinu. The problem is not with the Havdalah vatodi'anu per se. The problem is you're going to end up having to repeat Hashem Hashem. So if you put it in a place in between, l'mashal, before Yalav Yavai. So you put vatodi'anu, and then you go straight. You don't have to go back and say Shem Hashem again. What's wrong with that? And taka, many paiskim do not follow Mat Ephraim Sag. You can put it someplace in that bracha as long as you don't have to repeat an Shem Hashem for no reason. No, if you want to follow the Mat Ephraim, he was our paisik for Dairas, that's also acceptable. A very intimidating question, I would love to hear from the Olam afterwards if you have any more insight than I do. Last night we all said Khonenatnu, right? What did you have kavana when you said that? I don't want to get personal, but did you have in mind to be Yotze, the mitzvah of Havdalah, or not? You're wondering, of course I did. I learned the sugya, it's Havdalah, it's the Ikka Havdalah, right? Zog the Elkei Chassam Soifa, he has two famous tshuvas in Chsimen Tezvav and Yud, that even though you could be Yotze, Havdalah, Kiddush in davening, but don't have mind to be Yotze Kiddush in davening, have in mind to be Yotze the Kiddush ala kois. Kiddush. In Siman Chaf Aleph, he writes there, B'kiva Eiga, you write in your tshuva, he writes B'kiva Eiga, that when you come home after Maariv, you already said Havdalah. I don't think that's true. When you said Havdalah b'tfilah, Zakib Sam Seifa, have in mind not to be Yotze with the Havdalah b'tfilah, so you could say it Havdalah ala kois. That means the Chassam Soifa would, in Shemona Esrei, at the Khonenatnu, we have in mind not to be Yotze Havdalah b'tfilah. Like Kiddush, b'tfilah. Did anybody do that last night? But the question is, Zalman in the Shmir Shabbos, when Chesed Mechalov asked this, Chazal said at the Khonenatnu to say it. So you say not to say it, to have in mind not to say it? So one question that someone asked me, according to Chassam Soifa, so how could I drive home or do Melacha? How could I light the Ner Havdalah? So that you could say, the Chassam Soifa would say, of course, say Baruch HaMavdil. But the big question is, the Reb Shlomo Zalman wonders is, the Gemara says you to say it, and the Chassam Soifa says, say it, but have in mind not to be Yotze with it. But that's what Chassam Soifa held. You needed to be Matir Melacha, say Baruch HaMavdil. Or, I would even guess, you don't have to say Baruch HaMavdil. Have in mind that Khonenatnu is just a semi-Havdalah for Melacha, and you're only Yotze Havdalah Kais then. So it's something to think about. It's not just, when, Erev Pesach Al B'Shabbos, every Mitzvah Shabbos, what should I have in mind when I say Havdalah b'tfilah? Another question, and again, to half of Klal Yisrael, the Rav Shulchan Aruch, Reish Tzadik Vav Sif Tes says that even if women don't daven Maariv typically, which they never did, especially they didn't know how to daven in the olden days, they should make an effort to daven a Maariv and Matzoi Shabbos. And his cheshbon is very compelling. Since the Ikka Havdalah is b'tfilah, why shouldn't women have Ikka Havdalah? The ayah will say, nah, women are patur from Havdalah. Right? Go home Matzoi Shabbos and tell your wife, I made Havdalah. Yeah, you don't have to have Havdalah. They are very makbid in Havdalah, so why not do the full package? So the Rav writes for the Vapashit, women should say daven Maariv on Matzoi Shabbos. It's not done, and I once saw a pshat in the Rav doesn't mean you have to daven Maariv, because they're patur. But an Isha that does daven Maariv, maybe they shouldn't add at Khonenatnu, because maybe they're patur from Havdalah, so it doesn't belong there. No, he's saying you're allowed to say at Khonenatnu, but not that you have to. If you look at the Lashon of the Rav, I think we should blind that he says you should daven Maariv, but it's not done. But the svara is, if the Ikka Havdalah is b'tfilah, why don't women do it? Now, granted, you have another cheshbon why women should have a Maariv, because the husband said at Khonentanah was Yotze Havdalah, the Ikachi Havdalah in Maariv. He comes home as Moitzi, his wife, who's still fully Shabbosnik. So he's like the Rabbanan be Moitzi or the Raisa. Oh, so for that you could say, no, women are part of Havdalah. And also the wife will say, Baruch HaMavdil. Okay, good. But that would solve the problem if they both have a Maariv, but I don't think it's done. Reb Shlomo Zalman in Halicha Shleim and Tisha B'Av, Tezvav, Ha'ara 52, says, without quoting the Rav Shalach, he says, on Matzoi Shabbos Shechal B'Tisha B'Av, it would be a very good idea if women would have a Maariv. Think about this. Because they're not going to hear Havdalah until Sunday night. So why should they have a whole day of doing Melacha with a mere Baruch HaMavdil if they could say a Maariv with Khonentanah? But it says explicitly he did not paskin like that. He just suggested that for those that could do it. Now this is basically the Havdalahs in Shemona Esrei. Consider the following question and okay? Someone did not daven. I'm sorry, let's. Okay. Now, someone that went to sleep on a short Shabbos afternoon, and he told someone, "Wake me up! Don't forget, wake me up for Mincha." Okay, which the person did a little late, and woke him up just in time to daven Maariv. Okay, he missed Mincha, and assuming he's an Oinus. Okay, so now he has to go daven 2 times Maariv, and he's flustered as it is. You know, what do I do? At Khonentanah, once, twice. What do I do at Khonentanah? What would you say? So one thing is for sure. Which is the Maariv? The first one. So at Khonentanah is the first. Why second one? Then again, if a person did not daven Mincha on Erev Rosh Chodesh, so you have to have 2 Maariv. When he davens 2 Maarivs on Rosh Chodesh, he says in both. Freg di Oila Shabbos in Sivkot Yud Beis. This is in Kuf Ches Sivkot Yud Beis. So why do you daven 2? Why not 2 Khonentanahs? Sagt the Magen Avram, it's Pashit. Because you have to daven 2 Shemona Esreis. Shemona Esrei now includes Ya'aleh v'Yavoy. But you only have to have 1 Havdalah. It's not a part of Shemona Esrei. It's just the way where you say Havdalah. So in that case, you daven only 1 at Khonentanah in the first one, not the second one. Okay, so far so good. Now here's the Lamdin. During a long Shabbos, he had Shalosh Shuddis and it's 15 minutes to Maariv. Let me rest. I'll daven a Geshmak Maariv. The next thing you know is wake up for Shacharis. He didn't daven Maariv and didn't say Havdalah. Now he has to go to shul because he has one of the Shacharis, and he's mamish too embarrassed to ask a Rav, what's your location? Before Havdalah, I didn't have a Maariv. Where does he put this out to Khonentanah if he does? I'll give you 4 choices. Either in the first Shemona Esrei, the second one, none, or both. So Lamaisa, it makes sense that the first one is really where we should, the Chayra. The second one really makes the most sense. Because which of these 2 Shemona Esreis is the Maariv? Versteht sich? Second one, right? But then again, let's think. We never saw a Khonentanah in Shacharis. Why not? The terror is like we said earlier. Once you missed it, you followed the Gemara that put it in Havdalah ala Kais. So Rabbi, why are you different? I am davening over Maariv. Zok the Radvaz in Chelik Aleph Siman Shin Samach Aleph. They never were masakin a tashlumin for Havdalah because you could always put ala Kais. So you're no different than Matzoi Shabbos. You left it out to Khonentanah. What do? You make Kais. So daven 2 Shemona Esreis, go home, make Havdalah, and then eat breakfast. Why do you have to put out to Khonentanah? So Radvaz says you don't put it into any Shemona Esrei. But the Magen Avram in our Simmons, he's cut in Aleph, he says, I heard about the Radvaz, I didn't see it, but I don't understand it. Because the second Shemona Esrei is his Maariv. But I didn't see it to know his Pshat. But we have the Radvaz, and we see the Radvaz has a golden Pshat. But the Magen Avram's Svara is accepted by the Poiskim. Because Vivai, this is the Maariv, It's like I'm not putting it into Shacharis, I'm putting it into Maariv. So the overwhelming majority of Paiskim, the Rav and the Kitz and all the Paiskim say, not like the Radvaz, you put it into the second Shemona Esrei. But we're not finished. You look in the Rebbe Kivega on the page, and our Siman, Kivega says, this Shaila, put it into the first Shemona Esrei. And it's so pashut to him, he doesn't say a svar. The famous Reb Chaim in the beginning, in stencil, on Shas and Brachis, also says, put it into the first Shemona Esrei. Clear. Why first Shemona Esrei? Zakt Reb Shlomo Zalman, Masuk Mitvash. Because we learned in the beginning of the shir that where does Ata Chonenantanu belong? To be matir the Shemona Esrei. Zakt Reb Shlomo Zalman, that's what Reb Chaim meant. It's a din in the first Shemona Esrei that you're saying after Shabbos. So if you slept through the Maariv, now was your first Shemona Esrei. So it's logical to put it in the second Shemona Esrei, that's the Maariv. But the way the Gemara says, Zakt Reb Shlomo Zalman, where does the Ata Chonenantanu belong? In the first Shemona Esrei after Shabbos. You're a little late, but this is your first Shemona Esrei. So now what do? So the Radvaz is reject the halacha, but first or second. So as I told you, the most Paiskim, the Tais, the Shabbos, the Rav, the Kitzah, the Birchas Habayis, all say you put it into the second Shemona Esrei. Reb Chaim's Lumdis and Reb Chaim's Lumdis and Taki Paskin that way, but that's not where you put it. You put it into the second Shemona Esrei. Now, the Mr. Brewer Sivkot Beis says, if for some reason you got all flustered and you woke up and said, oh, I can't believe it, and you make Havdalah before Shacharis, but you shouldn't have done, you can't drink wine before Shacharis, once you made Havdalah, then you don't need that at all, after Havdalah. But basically, this is the halachos l'maaseh. The question that we began with, can someone daven, first hear Havdalah, and then daven Maariv? That's the Mishnah Berurah in Sivkot and Aleph. Why not? You have two chiyuvim. Doesn't make a difference if you made the main the akos first. The only thing is the Kaf HaChaim quotes Mekubalim. That's Reish Tad the Gimel Zayin. Al Pi Kabbalah, don't change the order. Some wonder also Tadir ain't a Tadir. The Chayr Maariv is Shemona Esrei, is Krishman. That's Tadir. But halacha, there's nothing wrong with that. I should mention, if you want to make Havdalah before Maariv, you have a problem of drinking the wine. But the Shah, someone else, you wanted to hear Havdalah from someone else, and you're above any kind of problem. Some people grada on Motzei Yom Kippur, they push it on the koyach to daven Maariv, that they're fasting. They go out and make Havdalah, and they rely on this shita that Havdalah and then Maariv is okay. This is basically the question when someone forgot. As we said, the halacha is that Ata Chonenantanu is not an extra credit. I can't stress that enough. Baruch HaMavdil, as we said, is an in-between creation to be matam melacha. What is my location after Baruch HaMavdil? So this is negeya if I said Baruch HaMavdil, and then I realized I didn't bench, can I still say Ritzei? So the Rav, in the end of Kuf Pei Ches, says, once it Baruch HaMavdil, it's Ois Shabbos, and you can't say Ritzei. Some Seifa on the page says, therefore, don't be quick to say Baruch HaMavdil, because then you are deprived of saying Ritzei. Now, someone asked me, why can't I say Ritzei? I ate on Shabbos, and just like if I ate on Yom Tiv and already it's late, I can still say Yal V'Yavoy. So why can't I say Ritzei? The answer is here, there's one fundamental difference. Once you said Baruch HaMavdil, you made Ois Shabbos, and therefore you can't say Ritzei. Achra and Chaviv, the question where someone made one mistake and he forgot to say Ata Chonenantanu. But then he made another mistake, and he ate before Havdalah. So this is the Gemara that you learned, Lamed Gimel, Lamed Beis, Ta bezu ubezu, chayza l'rosh. And the Gemara is mysterious. What does it mean, Ta bezu bezu? So the Rif and the Rosh say the following. A person forgot to say Ata Chonenantanu, hechrashti. Okay. Havdalah Alkais. But you made a second mistake and you ate before Havdalah Alkais. 2 strikes and halacha and you're out. Tabazu, chayza. What does chayza mean? Daven over the Shemona Esrei. Here's you see. Ata Chonenantanu is ma'akiv in this case. Now, the Ben Yoina says it's a form of a knas, a punishment, not a punishment like, right, 1,000 times, I will not be bad. But Shad is like the way the Rajba says it, he quotes a Gemara. If you didn't do right, we'll be quiet. But once you're really out of the program, you have to daven over the Shemona Esrei. Eating is lav dafka eating. Drinking also requires repeating Shemona Esrei, unless I saw the Shmir Shabbos and then test pay, if you drank water, then take it off to daven over, because water you're allowed to drink, me could have done without Havdalah. The Rav says if he was ta'am, Rav Dafki, he ate a suda. He ate a little bit, he has to daven over the Shemona Esrei, ta bezu bezu. Now it's interesting, if someone, Khonenatnu, said Baruch HaMavdiel and then ate, it doesn't work. Because the Baruch HaMavdiel has no shaykhs to eating, it's never mata achila. But here's the good news. It happens quite often, someone forgot Khonenatnu, got into his car like he does every single Motzei Shabbos, drives home, and then he says, "Oi, what did I do? I didn't make Havdalah yet. I didn't say Khonenatnu." So the Reb Kiva Eiger on the page quotes a Rashba, and other Rishonim say this, and the Pri Megadim, El Yerabba, the Rab, the Kitzah, all paskin like this. Lav dafka, if he ate before Havdalah, you have to daven over. Who adin, he did Melacha before Havdalah, which is a problem, of course. But here's the good news. If he said Baruch HaMavdiel before he went into his car, that saves the day. Why? It's pashut, because that is enough to be matzah the Melacha. Now, this is why a person has to make sure to say Baruch HaMavdiel. Hopefully it won't happen. In fact, the Torah Shabbos in Sifkat and Beis says even if an Isha who davened Maariv left out Khonenatnu and then ate, she too has to repeat the Shemona Esrei. Now I saw Reb Chaim Kanievsky says depends. If she's not mechuyev, how could it be that she has to repeat the Shemona Esrei? So maybe if she accepted it as a choiv. But this is basically the yesod that we have to keep in mind. Let me leave you with two beautiful shilas. Both of them come up. One question, we had this in the camp once. A bracha, pashut, matzoi, Shabbos, shechal b'Tisha B'Av. Again, he was disoriented. It's the Tisha B'Av, but he left it out to Khonenatnu. Okay, so far so good. Say Baruch HaMavdiel and hope for the best. Matzoi Tisha B'Av, like he does every Matzoi Tisha B'Av, right after Maariv, he goes, I guess he's makbid and v'chai b'hem, Zora's Jesus Magdimin, and he starts eating. And someone says, what are you doing? You got to say Havdalah. He ate before Havdalah on Matzoi Tisha B'Av. He's not used to that. Does he have to daven over? So this, Reb Shlomo Zalman, no one says before him, in Shmir Shabbos, Samach Beis, Sadekei, says no. Why not? It's ta bezu bezu, but it's so prolonged, it's not the typical ta bezu bezu. So, Baruch Hashem, he was saved. But listen to the next question. Someone is in shul, Matzoi Shabbos Shechal Yomtiv. It was Pesach, was Shabbos and Sunday. And Matzoi Shabbos, the Gabe clapped, didn't say anything, which he should have. And so the fellow said, oh, Yalav Yavai, I'm not going to forget Yalav Yavai. And he didn't forget Yalav Yavai. But instead he forgot ותודיענו. Okay, sometimes the Gabe should say ותודיענו, otherwise people don't know what he's clapping about. But then he came home and made a regular Kiddush, because he forgot about Havdalah, and drank the wine, and then one of his children says, Tati forgot to make Havdalah. Now, he might have made it to a Beferish Gemara. L'chayre, he is a new example of Ta Bezu Bezu. He forgot Havdalah B'Tfilah, and he drank wine. All before Havdalah. So the question is, now what? He's as embarrassed as can be, but guess what? What he should do right now is stop what he's doing, daven Maariv, then make over Havdalah. You don't have to repeat the Kiddush. The Kiddush was fine. But he has to make over, he didn't not make over, he has to make Havdalah. I have to soothe my children, my grandchildren, but you're not allowed to eat before Maariv. And you're not allowed to eat before Havdalah. I get a shomer, but why shomer if you can do things right? So Taka the Shmir Shabbos in Samach Beis, Lamed Zayin has this shayla. He says the best thing is, don't be embarrassed, go daven Maariv, then make Havdalah, and then eat. I do think if it's a question mamish of bezyonis, he could rely on a shomer, because it's no different than a regular Maariv, but he has to first make Havdalah. Then the question is, does he have to find the minyan? So this is beautiful. Because the old shaila is, if he didn't daven at all, so he has to find the minyan. Shema Shabbos will definitely have a minyan that time of the night. But if he did daven, just he's missing an askara, then he davened. But this is l'chayra less than askara. This is ata Khonenatnu. Or vatודיענו. So l'chayra he doesn't have to find the minyan, but let him have cup. A good talk to you all. You didn't say Havdalah.
Curses. Sinorim. The curses are the curses.
Shem should like to give a big yashakach to Rav Smith for today's share. Smith will say, seek him of today's share in 5 minutes, but as Hashem, Khadanja ben Akashema, Lotzakarish Baruch Lazakis, Yisrael Fikach, Hibram Torah Mitzvah, Shenem Adonai Chafetz Man, Tzidku Yagdol Torah V'Yadeh.
I don't understand.
If you have to repeat stuff, go back. It's not a problem in the Shabbos, it's a problem with the missing Havdalah. You didn't say, this guy did not say Havdalah, and he has to have an Havdalah, he has to find a minyan for Havdalah. Yeah, but it's more than that. It's not a chasson in the Shabbos. Just that he didn't say Havdalah. So it's a knas, but I would say it's a plus.
Again, that's the question. What is it? It's a knas? Or you should have
more than, it's not less than Naskara, maybe
people want to make it in the morning.
Is the rest of oh, okay. It's not hefsek.
And so here the lights out.
Yes, let's
finish with them.
Macht
Okay, Rabbi, so today we're trying not to make too big Havdalah between the Shia and the Sikkim.
Just to review what we learned today, first we see we have a beautiful Torah, how much goes into a little sugya. But basically, regarding the Havdalah, there are three alternatives. There's Havdalah, the Araisa, according to those that it's the Araisa. But basically, to identify each part of it, it came out that the best Havdalah is ala kais. It's the fullest package. It has a special bracha. It has a kais. It's similar to Kiddush. But the Ikar Havdalah that we say is Havdalah B'tfilah. That's what the Gemara says, that Lashon. And the Paiskim did a Lashon. The Gemara's Lashon is the Ikar Havdalah is B'tfilah. But you need both, and there's certainly no chashash of bracha L'vatala if you say both. The fact that Chazal do not allow Aveinenu Matzoi Shabbos because you don't have Khonenatenu showed that b'yisoid it's ma'akiv. We have three reasons why you put it into the bracha of das, either in Ein Deya Havdalah Minayin, or to be matter the Shmei Nesser, or as we saw the Ra'ah, is reason Magdim al mitzvahs. Even if a person forgot to say Khonenatenu, you're allowed to continue the Shmei Nesser, and there's no issa of saying brachas on even if it would be Shabbos. It's just a Chazal not matriachas. Just make sure to say Havdalah ala kais. Baruch HaMavdil is a limited version of Havdalah. It only permits the Melacha. It's only temporary, and it's a different sugya. That's in Shabbos, Taf Kuf Nun. Basically, the Matzoi Shabbos women that don't daven Maariv should be reminded to say Baruch HaMavdil, Matzoi Yamtiv. We should say Baruch HaMavdil and Kodesh the Kodesh if you do Melacha, and Matzoi Tishba before you change into weekday clothing and you do Melacha, you should say Baruch HaMavdil and Kodesh L'chol. If there's no kais, then Khonenatenu is ma'akiv. If you forgot Khonenatenu, you have to repeat the Shmei Nesser. There won't be a kais in the next few days. We don't add Khonenatenu between brachas or in Shema Keleinu or in Ntzor. And certainly when you said Baruch Ata Hashem, do not conclude on Deni Chukecha. Better finish Chonadas and put it when you say Havdalah ala kais. If a person forgot Matzoi Shabbos Tishbav to say Khonenatenu, you rely on Havdalah, and we do not repeat it Matzoi Shabbos. We don't add it to Shacharis or Mincha or even Maariv on Matzoi Tishbav, because once it's finished, it's over. We rely on Havdalah, and that's the end of the story. If a person said Khonenatenu but forgot to say an Askara, so it makes sense that if he wasn't Yotze, he has to repeat the Khonenatenu. Some make a chilek if he said the mistake was before he said Khonenatenu, then Enechanami Khonenatenu is invalid. But afterwards, the Mashli forgot to say Talamata or Shmakale or Yalaviyavai, then Khonenatenu still stands. And some say that in all cases he doesn't have to repeat because the Shmei Nesser was good. You didn't say an Askar. So whenever a person has a suffix, if he adds it, again, it's not the end of the world, because it's not a hefsek, even if he said it on a random Tuesday, because it's all emes, it's no sheker. The Matzoi Shabbos Shechal B'Yamtiv Vatodi'enu is a marganisa that the Gemara calls a gem. The same halachos regarding Khonenatenu apply to Vatodi'enu. Once you say Vatitem Lanu Hashem Elokeinu, Zakti Matefrayim, do not go weiter, and you do not Vatodi'enu, go weiter and forget about it. Others say once if you continued, you're allowed to put it between inyanim. There's no concern of repeating the Shem Hashem. Should I have a kavanah when I say Khonenatenu not to be Yotze with that? Some Sefer says not to have a kavanah not to be Yotze with Khonenatenu on a regular weekly basis. You'll be Yotze with it's like a Baruch HaMavdil, but I think the Vel does have in mind to Yotze that Havdalah Deraisa. And then the Havdalah Kais has its own function. Women, Zok the Rav, should daven Maariv Matzoi Shabbos. Some Zalman said they should daven Maariv Matzoi Shabbos Shechal B'Tishbav. It seems it's not the minig in either case, because you rely on Baruch HaMavdil, and eventually there will be an Havdalah in its proper time. A person could say Havdalah or hear Havdalah before Maariv. Lamais is an issue of Tadir Shein Tadir, or drinking the wine, or some say don't change the order. But Miyikah the Din, if you did hear Havdalah before Maariv, Avad, you could daven the regular Maariv with Khonenatenu. A person that forgot Mincha on Shabbos, and there was a Tashlumin, so you only say Khonenatenu in the first Shmei Nesser. A person did not daven Maariv Matzoi Shabbos Sunday morning, chayr comes out, he should say it in the second Shemona Esrei and not in the first. There's once you did Baruch HaMavdil, you no longer say Ritzei and benching. A person that came late, Lamashal, I should have mentioned this, and they're already starting Maariv, and he went to the bathroom and he didn't bench yet. So Ber Moshe says he should daven Maariv with the tzibah and then bench without Ritzei. It's better to miss Ritzei than to miss Tefillah B'tzibah. So Tefillah B'tzibah has priority, and then you bench without Ritzei. Ta bezu, the Gemara says, is a knas, he has to bench, daven over if he ate or did melacha before saying Havdalah. Granted, the halacha is mekel if he did melacha, but one thing we did say, that if he did say Baruch HaMavdil before he did the melacha, after he left out Khonenatnu and Shemona Esrei, that would save the day. But if he ate before Havdalah, after forgetting Khonenatnu, he has to actually repeat the Shemona Esrei. Women, as we said earlier, who don't daven Maariv should make sure to say Baruch HaMavdil. If they don't daven Maariv, that's their idea as far as doing melacha. Someone ate a matzoi Tisha B'Av, shechal b'Shabbos, and also forgot Khonenatnu the night before, does not have to repeat the davening. And we did mention if he forgot vatodi'anu in matzoi Shabbos shechal on Yom Tiv, and also forgot to say Havdalah, then he has to repeat Maariv, repeat the Havdalah, and then he can have a Suda. If he does that order, I forgot to mention, he doesn't have to repeat the Guffin again, because it is no question of hefsik, because all of this was a tzorich for his Havdalah. So therefore, even though he's putting so much in between Kiddush, Maariv, Havdalah, and then he's washing, it's not a hefsik between the Kiddush and the washing, it's all a tzorich of the Kiddush. Dus yet. As long as you remember then.
Yeah. Then it was the best be even.
Thank you.